Hello, everyone. My name is Kristina Chamberlain. I am the clinical director and the lead faculty for the UC San Diego Extension Lactation program. I want to start off first by saying thank you so much for participating as a preceptor in our Pathway to program. It means so much to have your dedication to our program and to our interns. I've been a preceptor myself. I know firsthand how rewarding the role of preceptor can be, but I also know that it can just add one more thing to our busy day. So I really do appreciate that you have this commitment to making our interns the best lactation professionals they can be. Thank you very much. By now, you should have gotten an email that kind of highlights what is expected of somebody when they're a preceptor for our program. But I wanted to put together this video just to go through things to make sure we're all clear and on the same page. When you're working with our interns, I want to make it really clear that the number one priority continues to be the care that you're giving to your clients. That's always first and foremost, right? But there's a part where you can incorporate the learning opportunities for our interns into that care that you give your clients. And I want to kind of give you some ideas for how you can incorporate your interns into your regular clinic day. Think about what you do throughout the day that can be utilized as a learning opportunity for our interns. Certainly that can be face-to-face lactation consultations, but it can also include breastfeeding support groups, breastfeeding classes, telehealth visits, and even phone triage. So certainly it doesn't have to be necessarily just bedside lactation consultations, although those are fabulous opportunities. But think about what else you do that can provide some learning opportunities for our interns. When we are also talking about clinic hours with our interns, we are talking about hands-on participation by the intern themselves. Observation hours do not count towards the clinical hours that these interns need to complete for our program. That is dictated by IBLC and our accreditation organization. I totally understand that observation is always a part of the beginning of any internship. The intern needs to learn how you do things. They need to learn the protocols of the facility where you work. They also need to just learn where things are located in your facility. And a lot of that is learned through observation. However, I ask that you keep the observation time for our interns limited, short a period as possible, and really work to incorporate them into your care as soon as possible. Some ways that you could do that is just starting off very small in what they do during your consultations. For example, it could be as simple as the intern is the one who introduces themselves and you to the client, and then starts off the interview by simply asking, what brought you in today? How is breastfeeding going? What can we do for you? Just allowing the intern the opportunity to start that conversation, that interview, and to start building a rapport is a way for them to participate early on into visits. It might be that early on the intern is in charge of doing all of the baby weighing. You could teach them how to use the scale and allow them to do all of the baby weights throughout your visits throughout the day. And that's just a really simple way to get them engaged and participating in those visits right from the start. Now, as you spend more time with the intern and their skills develop, we expect the interns to have this progression of, starting off as a novice and progressing until at the end of the course, they're pretty much independent, able to conduct a consultation on their own, creating a plan of care pretty much on their own with minimal assistance from you. So the way to get them to that point is for you to offer them small steps and build on that throughout the time that you work with them. Again, if you're having them start off with just the interview at the beginning or doing something like weighing the babies. As they get to a point where those skills have been pretty mastered, then they should go on to the next one. So it's a progression of skills that as their toolbox of skills improves and grows and their confidence grows, they should start doing more and more independently during the day with your clients. So please keep that in mind. How are you going to foster that progression of their skills and their confidence within the time frame of our program and the time frame that you're working with them? By the end of the program, as I said, they should be working with pretty much minimal assistance from you. And we also want to make sure that you capture that in some of their feedback that we are going to have the interns collect from you. I know the fastest way to get preceptors to not want to be a preceptor anymore is to weigh them down with a lot of paperwork or a lot of busy work. I promise we're not doing that. There is some paperwork associated with the internships, but it is all the responsibility of the intern themselves. So every week, the intern should have their clinical hours log and their clinical skills competency checklist. Those two pieces of those forms basically need to be filled out by the intern, but they need to be signed by you. Please do sign those on a weekly basis. And on both of those, there's an area for you to provide some written feedback. And that way we can monitor our interns' progress based on what you see when you're with them in the clinical setting. This should be done on a weekly basis so that we can keep track of where our interns are and how they are progressing. Now, I also ask that you give them some verbal feedback throughout the day. And think about how you can incorporate that verbal feedback right after the consultations that you do. You know, feedback is definitely richer to the intern. It's retained more, it matters more, and helps with them improving their skills when it is given right in the moment, so right after the consultation, rather than waiting until the end of the day to kind of talk about all the consultations at once. So please think about how you can give them on-the-spot feedback throughout the day. I certainly would like to hear some of that feedback. I will be monitoring the interns' paperwork as well as the other clinical instructors that we have working with us this quarter. So we're the ones who are going to be looking at that feedback, but I'm the one who is going to be in contact with you throughout the quarter. I will be touching base with you to see how that intern is doing. At any time, if you have a concern about an intern or a question about our program, please reach out to me. If you just want to tell me how fabulous our interns are, I'd love to hear that too. I want to create open communication for us. I will certainly be reaching out to you throughout the quarter, checking in, but please know I'm very approachable and I'd love to hear from you. Carol Landry is our program director. She is also available. If you have any questions or concerns about the program, you can certainly reach out to her as well. The other thing is, I want to make sure that you know our interns are required as part of their homework assignments to submit chart notes. I do not expect preceptors to review those chart notes. That is something that myself and the other clinical instructors will do. However, the interns will need to gather some information from the client chart in order to write their own chart note. Our interns are trained in HIPAA compliance. They're knowledgeable about the rules of HIPAA, so they know not to bring home any identifying client information. So you don't need to worry about that, but please do allow them access to those clinic charts so they can review them and use that information for their own write-ups. I really think that we have an excellent group this quarter, and I'm really looking forward to them getting in the clinics with you. I'm really looking forward to us building our relationship with preceptors. I know that UCSD has a large network of preceptors that we've worked with over the years, and I'm really getting excited about getting to know all of you. Please reach out to me at any point if you have any questions or concerns or just to say hello. I really do value open communication, and I really look forward to getting to know you throughout the quarter. Thank you so much for being a preceptor. We really appreciate it.